A new twist in the Menendez Brothers case. The lawyer for family members wants the California Attorney General to take over the case.
The couple was sitting around watching TV when their adult sons came in with shotguns and slaughtered them.
And between the ages of 6 and 8, did your father have sexual contact with you?
Yes. I've gotten mail after the verdict that people discouraged. And I wanted to say to them to not lose hope because of this one case.
The year was 1989, a warm August night in Beverly Hills. Inside a sprawling mansion, Jose and Kitty Menendez, a wealthy and powerful couple, were found brutally murdered. The gunshots shattered the quiet luxury of their neighborhood, sending shock waves across the country. But the real shock came later when their own sons, Eric and Lyle Menendez, confessed to the killings. The trial that followed wasn't just a courtroom drama, it was a media frenzy. Tears, allegations of abuse, and the brothers' chilling testimony gripped the nation. For years, the case seemed closed, two sons driven by greed and rage. But what if there's more to the story? Now, new evidence has surfaced, evidence that challenges everything we thought we knew. This isn't just a twist, it could be the key to unlocking a decades-old mystery. What really happened that night in Beverly Hills? And could the Menendez brothers be hiding a truth even more shocking than the crime itself? Let's uncover the story that might change everything. The Menendez brothers' story is like a dark novel come to life, filled with secrets, betrayal, and chilling twists. It begins with a family that appeared perfect on the surface. Jose Menendez, a self-made millionaire, was a dominant figure in the entertainment industry. His wife, Kitty, was a former beauty queen turned homemaker. Together, they had built a life of luxury, raising their two sons, Lyle and Eric, in a Beverly Hills mansion. But behind the gated facade, there was a darkness that no one could have imagined. On August 20th, 1989, the serene streets of Beverly Hills were pierced by the sound of gunfire. Inside the Menendez home, Jose and Kitty were shot multiple times with a 12-gauge shotgun. The crime scene was brutal. Jose was found slumped on the couch, his head nearly blown off. Kitty's body was riddled with bullets, as if the shooter had been in a frenzy. The sheer violence stunned even the most seasoned detectives. Who could commit such a heinous crime? The initial police investigation focused on a possible mob hit or a robbery gone wrong. The Menendez family's wealth and Jose's powerful business connections raised suspicions of enemies seeking revenge. But as the weeks passed, investigators began noticing odd behavior from the brothers. Instead of mourning their parents, Lyle and Eric seemed to be enjoying their newfound freedom and wealth. They went on extravagant shopping sprees, buying Rolex watches, designer clothes, and even a new Porsche. Lyle purchased a restaurant, while Eric hired a personal tennis coach and planned a professional career. This behavior caught the attention of detectives, but it wasn't until a startling confession that the case broke wide open. In a chilling moment of guilt, Eric confessed to his psychologist, Dr. Jerome Oziel, that he and his brother had killed their parents. Lyle, fearing exposure, allegedly threatened the psychologist's life. But the damage was done. The brothers were arrested in March 1990. During the trial, the Menendez brothers painted a horrifying picture of their family life. They claimed that their father, Jose, was a tyrant who emotionally and physically abused them. They accused him of sexually assaulting them for years, while their mother, Kitty, turned a blind eye, trapped in her own struggles with addiction and mental health issues. The brothers argued that the murders weren't cold-blooded executions but acts of desperation. They believed their parents were planning to kill them to cover up the abuse. The courtroom drama captivated the nation. The defense presented graphic testimony about the alleged abuse, supported by diary entries and family friends who hinted at dysfunction. The prosecution, however, painted a different picture: two entitled young men who killed their parents out of greed. They pointed to the brothers' lavish spending as proof of their motive. In 1996, after 2 trials and much public debate, Lyle and Eric Menendez were convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. For many, the case was closed. The brothers were portrayed as spoiled killers, and the public moved on. But the story didn't end there. Over the years, whispers of new evidence began to emerge, evidence that could challenge the narrative we've all come to accept. One of the most startling pieces of information involves recordings of the brothers' therapy sessions with Dr. Oziel. These tapes were used as critical evidence during the trial, but not all of them were made public. Recently, unsealed transcripts reveal moments that raise questions about the brothers' state of mind at the time of the murders. In one chilling recording, Eric describes feeling trapped and terrified, convinced that their father's threats were real. Could this be proof that the brothers acted out of fear, not greed? Another revelation comes from new testimonies by relatives and family friends who've come forward years after the trial. One cousin described a disturbing pattern of control and manipulation by Joe Hay, saying that the brothers' claims of abuse are consistent with what they witnessed growing up. Another friend of Kitty's revealed that she confided about feeling helpless against Josie's domineering behavior. These accounts add layers of complexity to the story, suggesting that the Menendez brothers' claims may have been dismissed too quickly. Then there's the physical evidence that was overlooked or ignored during the original investigation. Experts now argue that the crime scene shows signs of panic and chaos, inconsistent with the calculated murders the prosecution described. Blood spatter analysis and the trajectory of the gunshots suggest the possibility of a struggle. If true, this could support the brothers' claim that they acted out of fear during a confrontation. The most shocking piece of new evidence, however, comes from an unexpected source, a letter written by Eric Menendez shortly before the murders. In the letter, addressed to a friend, Eric described the ongoing abuse in detail and expressed fear for his life. The letter was never admitted into evidence during the trial, and its existence only came to light decades later. Legal experts say it could have significantly impacted the jury's perception of the brothers' motives. This new evidence has reignited public interest in the Menendez case. Advocates for the brothers argue that they deserve a new trial, one where the full context of their family life can be presented. But skeptics remain unconvinced, pointing out that the brothers had other options. They could have sought help, run away, or reported the abuse. Instead, they chose to murder their parents in cold blood. The question now is what will happen next. Legal teams are working to file appeals based on the newly uncovered evidence, and the possibility of a retrial looms on the horizon. If the Menendez brothers are granted a new trial, it could become one of the most high-profile legal battles of the decade, forcing us to confront uncomfortable questions about justice, abuse, and the way society treats survivors. But even as the legal wheels turn, the Menendez case remains a haunting reminder of the darkness that can exist behind closed doors. It's a story of privilege and pain, of unimaginable violence and unanswered questions. And with every new piece of evidence, we're left wondering, did the system fail the Menendez brothers, or did they fail themselves? What do you think? Could this shocking new evidence change everything we thought we knew about this infamous case, or is it too late to rewrite history? One thing's for sure, the Menendez brothers' story is far from over. And as new details emerge, the line between victim and villain grows ever blurrier. Stay tuned for updates, because this case might just be on the verge of taking another dramatic turn. As the spotlight turns back to the Menendez brothers, it's not just the legal system that's re-examining their story. The case has also captured the attention of a new generation, one that wasn't around when the trial first unfolded. Social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube have become hubs for debate, with users dissecting court transcripts, analyzing the brothers' testimony, and questioning the fairness of their trial. Has the rise of true crime media allowed us to see this case in a different light, or is it simply fueling sensationalism? One major point of discussion centers on how abuse survivors are treated in the courtroom. In the early 90s, conversations about sexual abuse, particularly male survivors, were still taboo. The Menendez brothers' claims were met with skepticism, and many dismissed their testimony as an elaborate excuse for murder. Today, society is more aware of the psychological scars abuse can leave and how those scars can drive people to extreme actions. Could this shift in perspective impact how a new jury might view the brothers' story? But the debate isn't just about the Menendez brothers. It's about the broader implications of their case. What does justice look like when the line between victim and perpetrator becomes blurred? If the brothers were indeed victims of horrific abuse, should their actions be judged differently? Or does the brutality of their crime outweigh the trauma they endured? These questions don't have easy answers, but they strike at the heart of why this case continues to captivate us. There's also the question of media influence. The original Menendez trial was one of the first to be broadcast on live television, turning it into a spectacle. Viewers saw every tear, every argument, every shocking revelation. But this unprecedented media access came with a cost. It shaped public opinion in ways that may have affected the outcome of the trial. The brothers were vilified in the press, portrayed as greedy, remorseless killers. Could this media narrative have tainted the jury pool? And if so, what does that mean for the integrity of the verdict? Legal experts argue that the Menendez case highlights the need for reform in how high-profile trials are conducted. Some suggest that televising such cases creates an environment where the pursuit of truth takes a backseat to the pursuit of ratings. Others believe that transparency is essential, even if it comes with risks. Regardless of where you stand, it's clear that the Menendez trial was a turning point in how justice is televised and how it's perceived. As we await the next chapter in this decades-old saga, one thing remains certain: the Menendez brothers are no longer just defendants in a murder trial. They've become symbols of a much larger conversation about power, abuse, and the pursuit of justice. Whether they're ultimately vindicated or their convictions stand, their case will continue to be dissected, debated, and remembered for years to come. And perhaps that's the most unsettling part of all: how a story so horrifying, so deeply personal, has become a cultural touchstone. Behind the headlines, the documentaries, and the social media debates, there are real lives forever changed by that night in Beverly Hills. Jose and Kitty Menendez lost their lives. Lyle and Eric lost their freedom. And a nation lost its sense of innocence, forced to confront the fact that sometimes the most shocking crimes happen not in dark alleys, but in the places we're supposed to feel safest: our homes. So as new evidence comes to light, and the Menendez brothers' story takes yet another twist, we're left with a haunting question: will we ever truly know what happened on that fateful August night? Or will the truth remain buried, as elusive and complex as the family at the center of it all? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure: the Menendez brothers' case is a story that refuses to let us look away. The Menendez brothers' case is more than just a story of a crime. It's a chilling look at the complexities of family, the justice system, and the human mind. With new evidence emerging, the narrative we thought we knew is being challenged in ways we couldn't have imagined. Could this change everything? Or will the truth remain as murky and elusive as ever? As we wait to see if the Menendez brothers' case takes a new turn, one thing is certain: this story isn't over. What do you think? Does the new evidence suggest a tragic tale of survival, or do the brutal facts of the crime outweigh everything else? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear your take. And if this case has you hooked, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more in-depth stories like this one. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next upload. where we'll dive even deeper into the cases that shape our understanding of truth and justice. The Menendez Brothers saga continues to haunt and fascinate, and we'll be here to follow every twist and turn. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.